Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, as this pandemic has been happening around the globe with every major sport, including the NHL obviously being either suspended or canceled, it's time to focus on some other things. And I've been really thinking about the NHL Prospect Pools this season, throughout this season, and before that. And I realized I haven't done a video on it, so it just made perfect sense because there are a lot of prospects that I'm excited for. I wonder if you're excited for. And I'm curious as to see how you feel about my rankings of the top three prospect pools in the AHL. And this one can definitely be debated because I have at number three the New York Rangers, and many would probably pick the Carolina Hurricanes or possibly even the Colorado Avalanche, even though I think that's stretching it slightly a bit. But I have the Rangers at number three with a slight edge over the Carolina Hurricanes. It really is a strong debate. I feel you could go either way because there are a lot of fantastic prospects on the Carolina Hurricanes as it is, with guys like, of course, Ryan Suzuki and then Jake Beam, who really I'm waiting for him to take that next step. He's 21 years old now, I'm pretty sure, and Anthony Honka. I don't know why I misspelled his name originally, but there are a lot of pieces there for Carolina, and obviously they also have Joey Keane, who they received in a trade with the New York Rangers not long ago, with Gauthier going or Gauthier, however you say it, going to the New York Rangers. So basically a prospect for prospect, with Gauthier being drafted in the first round 2016, and then you have Keane, the 20-year-old rookie AHL defenseman, has been really strong all season long in his rookie campaign. Made the All-Star game for the Hartford Wolfpack, and seems like he will have a fantastic career with Carolina Hurricanes as well, and I really hope he does. So that's another guy I threw in there because I was a big fan of his as a Rangers fan, so it was kind of tough seeing him leave, but the Rangers do have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to their defensive prospects, so it made sense for both parties involved. So, getting to the New York Rangers, though, there are so many prospects to talk about, but I'm not going to. I'm going to just list some guys, first off, that should be honorable mentions that aren't in, say, their top three prospects, but are really right outside. And then you, of course, have defensemen Zach Jones, other defensemen, Matthew Robertson, and then you have some forwards in there like Lori Palmari. I'm probably saying his name wrong. The Finnish forward has been fantastic in Finland this year and has over 20 goals on the season. Has really been lights out after destroying all previous numbers he's had in his career there to date. And then you also have Carl Henriksson, who I really like, who's a centerman out of Sweden, and then Morgan Barron playing for Cornell has really progressed throughout his time there. So there's a lot to like, and then the main picks have to be Nils Lundqvist at the Rangers' number one prospect. The 19-year-old right-handed defenseman has been lights out in Sweden this year, playing for Frölunda. And in 45 games played, he has 11 goals, 20 assists, and 31 points. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's playing with Frölunda, or maybe I'm mistaken, because I know he's playing with another team as well. I might be confusing myself here, but regardless, I know he's playing in Sweden, and he has been lights out from all the highlights I've seen, and his stats have been fantastic. He's currently ranked first in the U20 for points, for the points per game that he has been on versus any other player in quite some time. So that has been great to see. And his shot has been fantastic. He shows great hockey IQ. His poise in his own zone and offensively is really growing within this past year. And I know that he was on a goal streak, it looks like, up until this his season being suspended or canceled. He had at least 3 or 4 straight games with a goal, and they were all in the same exact position, how Ovechkin would score those 1-Ts in the left dot right-hand shot. So Lundqvist as a defenseman, that is awesome to see, and I can't wait for him to be in New York. And then also you have Vitaly Kravtsov, who was another first-round pick in 2018, along with Lundqvist and the other guy I'll get to. Kravtsov, the 19-year-old right winger, who started off his career with the Rangers not looking great, just because going into the season he didn't make the team, so he was sent to the AHL and he didn't like it there. So he then opted to go back to the KHL, and then things were happening with KHL, so then he got moved to the KHL's minor league team in the VHL. That wasn't working out, so then he came back to North America not too long ago, and in 39 games played with the Hartford Wolfpack of the AHL this year, He has 6 goals and 9 assists for 15 points. And Kravtsov has such great hockey IQ as well. His poise, his hands are insane. I'm unbelievably excited for him. Ever since he got drafted by the Rangers, I thought that was a fantastic pick. When a lot of people were upset that the Rangers didn't pick Oliver Wahlstrom, I wasn't upset with that at all, truly. Wahlstrom does look like he has a promising future, but Kravtsov, I think the upside is better. Like I said, this is my opinion as a Rangers fan, but I think there's just a lot to like with him, and his overall game is looking fantastic and has really progressed over the past couple months. And then obviously the third guy I have is Keandre Miller, who actually just signed his entry-level contract. I might do a video on that within the coming days, but we'll see. Keandre was drafted in the first round as well by the Rangers in 2018. They actually moved up a couple picks to get him. And Miller, who transitioned his game from originally being a forward to becoming a defenseman within the past 3 years now, I believe, has been fantastic. He's great in his own zone, and offensively he's lights out as a big man as well. I believe he's 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", around there. Really strong guy and has a great character. I love his personality, and I'm really excited for what he has in store for the Rangers. In his sophomore season with the University of Wisconsin this year, and 36 games played, he has 7 goals, 11 assists for 18 points. And there's a lot to like with Miller, and he is another huge piece of the Rangers going forward, as are seemingly all the other guys I just told you about. But that's why I have the Rangers at number 3. They have a lot of guys, and they have a lot of guys that have already blossomed out of being a prospect, with the likes of Adam Fox, Capo Caco, Igor Shesterkin, etc. There's so much there with the Rangers through this development, and they really are in full swing of basically ending this rebuild while having all these prospects still on hand. So, as the number 2 team I have in this ranking, I have the Montreal Canadiens. The Canadiens are a team that has had really good prospects for the past 1.5, 2 years now. I've really been impressed with their prospect pool. I really wish that they went all in at the trade deadline with selling. I think that would have benefited them greatly going into this year's draft. But regardless, the Canadiens have a great prospect pool as it is. Honorable guys that you can talk about, of course, would be Jaden Struble, the left-hand defenseman, 18-year-old for the Canadiens. They have a plethora of left-hand defensemen as their top prospects, might I add. And then you also have Caden Primo, who hopefully, for their sake, will be the heir apparent to Carey Price. So we'll see what happens there. The 20-year-old goaltender has a lot of promise. And overall, Cole Caulfield is obviously their top prospect. Caulfield, I'm a huge fan of. Not just being an American, just overall Caulfield, watching his highlights leading up to the 2019 draft, there's so much to like. The fact that he fell all the way to the 15th pick in the first round really surprised me. I was really hoping the Rangers would do something to get him, but they didn't. That's fine. He fits the Canadian system perfectly because they're kind of known for not having a lot of big statured players. They like their smaller forwards and guys with lethal shots, and that's exactly what Cole Caulfield is. He fits all those boxes perfectly. Caulfield had arguably the best shot coming out of the 2019 draft, and I won't be surprised if he continues that into his NHL career. So Caulfield, the 19-year-old right winger, playing with Keandre Miller this past season at the University of Wisconsin, in 36 games played, has 19 goals, 17 assists for 36 points. So point-per-game player. There's so much to see, and I'm really excited for Caulfield's future. Now, while I'm not a Habs fan necessarily, I am a big Cole Caulfield fan, so I hope the best for him and hoping that he comes to the NHL sooner rather than later, but we'll see what happens. And then also you have Alex Romanov, who's a very, very solid-looking defenseman coming out of the KHL that the Canadiens drafted a couple years ago in 2018, the second round. He has really stood out in juniors as well. He had 5 points in 7 games for Russia, and the year before that, I believe he had 7 points in 7 games. So he has really been strong, and might add, as a 20-year-old left-hand defenseman in the KHL, in 43 games played, he has 7 points, no goals, but 7 assists. Really doing strong in a men's league, a huge league, might add. The most impressive league, you could say, comparing to the NHL. You have the KHL right below it. So Romanov, there's a lot of promise with him and can be a cornerstone into the Canadiens' future. And then I also have Jordan Harris, who is a 19-year-old left-hand defenseman, another lefty defenseman, might add. Coming out of why am I getting myself confused here? Because my notes coming out of Northeastern, actually, who really wasn't as coveted when he was drafted, but he has progressed tremendously. In 33 games played, he has 3 goals, 18 assists for 21 points, and he was drafted in the 3rd round in 2018. So there are plenty of other guys there too. I obviously could have thrown in Ryan Poehling, but he's at the point now where even if you could say label him as a prospect, in my opinion, I just feel he's out of that category. It's fine if you disagree with me or if that's not factually correct. I just didn't have him in there because I know that Poehling is basically set with the Canadiens. If not now, then he will be going into next season. So, and I'm pretty sure that he was out for a while this year with injury. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's been the case. And number 1 is probably the most obvious for the best prospect pool I have in the NHL, and that is the LA Kings. The Kings are only going to get better in this upcoming draft as well. They could very well get a top 3 pick, possibly even the number 1 pick, which will be absolutely insane. But wherever they fall, they're only going to continue to get better. And the Kings have been playing fantastic up until the suspension. They won, I believe, 7 straight games. So there's a lot to like there. They have their court. They have, obviously, their grizzled veterans on the team still, but they have a young goaltender, and they have the best prospect pool currently in the NHL. And there's so many guys we can talk about. Rasmus Kupari, who looks fantastic, the 19-year-old centerman. Tyler Madden, who I'm a big fan of, who the Kings received in the trade for Tyler Toffoli earlier this season, the 20-year-old center. And Akil Thomas is another, and the list just goes on and on. There's so many guys in this LA Kings prospect pool that are going to thrive, especially offensively. That's where the heart is when it comes to their prospects. You obviously have Alex Turcotte, who's drafted in the 1st round 2019. Fantastic young man who was playing his first year of college this year as well in the University of Michigan. And in 29 games played, he had 9 goals, 17 assists for 26 points. And he has since signed his ELC entry-level contract with the LA Kings. So I'm really excited for his future as well. The Kings look like they have a stud in Turcotte as well as many other forwards. And he's an 18-year-old centerman as well. So there's just so much to like there. His overall game looks fantastic. I remember watching his highlights, especially before he even got into college, leading up to his draft year. And there's a lot to like there. His overall game looks fantastic. He's not a defensive liability by any means, and he has a great shot. So he's going to lead the Kings into their future and very well could possibly be their next number 1 center. If not, then definitely in their top 6. And then secondly, I have Arthur Kaliev, 18-year-old left winger. Kaliev, I loved in this past year's draft. And I was furious that he got slept on as much as he did. While his defensive game isn't fantastic, he was arguably the best shot in the 2019 draft alongside of Cole Caulfield. Kaliev is really impressive, and he is doing just that again this season in the OHL. As a Rangers fan, I really wanted them to go for him, and they didn't, as well as every other team in the AHL passed up on him at least once. So the Kings made a perfect move there, getting him falling out of the 1st round, which was really absurd. But Kaliev in 57 games played this year has 44 goals, 57 assists for 98 points. Now, while that should be taken with a grain of salt, given the fact that he's playing in the OHL, this is a tendency that happens with plenty of guys in the OHL, CHL, or just juniors overall. They can be lights out and still never lead up to that NHL potential. But Kaliev has so much promise. Fantastic shot. His defensive game should be getting worked on, and it has been, though. He's progressing, not regressing, and there's a lot to like there. And he's a sizable forward, too, might I add. So he's not a guy that's going to be able to get knocked off the puck easily. And just a lot to like overall. Kaliev, I was a huge fan of leading up to the 2019 draft, and every single team slept on him. And I have a feeling that every team is going to regret it very, very soon if they haven't already. And then you also have Gabriel Velarde. Velarde is another where it's almost time to take him out of the prospect talk because he's already played 10 games in the AHL. But regardless, in 32 games played this year in the AHL, he has 9 goals, 16 assists for 25 points. And in the NHL this year, he has 7 goals in 10 games so far, hoping the season resumes, and that includes 3 goals and 4 assists. So Velarde, who's dealt with injuries, is finally healthy and is thriving. Big guy, lots of explosive offensive power, not a defensive liability either. I love centers that are good in their own zone. That means a lot to me. So obviously he's going to continue to progress, but Velarde is another huge piece of the Kings' future, and there's so much to like there. And then you also have Samuel Fagemo, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Fagemo, however you pronounce it. The 19-year-old winger was drafted in the second round in 2019. A lot of picks the Kings made were fantastic that year, might add. And in 42 games played in Sweden, he has 13 goals, 9 assists for 32 points. So just another guy who looks to be a huge part of this Kings' future. Their offense is unbelievably promising, and after this year's the 2020 NHL draft, who knows what the ceiling is going to be, because it surely looks like the sky at this point if you're an LA Kings fan. So that's going to conclude this video. Let me know what you think. If you agree with my list of the top 10 current prospect pools in the NHL, obviously they can be debated, and I'm perfectly willing to talk to you about that. If you want to let me know what you think, if you dislike this video, this talk, for if I will, about this list, please let me know. And if you like the video, please like, subscribe, comment, all those great things. And thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you haven't checked out previous videos, please do. And I will be back in a day or two.